If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hey everyone, welcome to the latest edition of the Business Outlook podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Narvaiz, Journal Business Editor. I want to start off by thanking our sponsor, Central New Mexico Community College. On the show today, we have Vince Kadlubek, the co-founder and current Chief Vision Officer of Meow Wolf. We chat about the company's expansions into New York and Los Angeles, and maybe even some international expansions. Hope you enjoyed the show.
CNM is truly one college with infinite possibilities in tech and data sciences. CNM offers programs where everyone can learn about software, apps, or how to build websites. You can also choose from AI programs and machine learning, the Internet of Things, and so much more. CNM, one college, infinite possibilities, and a proud sponsor of the Albuquerque Journal's Business Outlook.
Cool. Vince, pleasure to have you on the show. So you're one of the co-founders of Meow Wolf. Maybe let's just start off with, what Meow Wolf is in your view and how this thing got started.
Oh my gosh. Meow Wolf is so many things. It's like one of the most complicated questions that you could ask. Fundamentally, Meow Wolf is a creative perspective. It's a perspective on the world, and it's a perspective that a lot of people have adopted over the years and have turned sort of into, a movement of a perspective. And it's based in, imagination and play and, doing things just to attempt doing things, the creative spirit, the type of spirit that artists kind of live with their entire lives, and trying to bring that to the world. We love maximalism. We love psychedelia. We love, humor and commentary, and just kind of like looking at the world from an interesting perspective, from a different perspective. So that's all the sort of underlying characteristics of Meow Wolf that has now turned into a company. And the company obviously is based in Santa Fe, and we express our perspective through these large scale, immersive, permanent exhibitions that are bringing art to people, bringing fun and play to people, and then also bringing like an interesting story perspective to people as well. So all those things wrapped into, the exhibitions that we build. And so, it's been going on for 15 years now, the Meow Wolf momentum.
Yeah.
And it's bigger now today than it ever has been. It's wild.
Yeah, it has seen significant growth, right? So this thing was founded in 2008.
Yeah.
2016, you get the first exhibition up in Santa Fe up and running. We have locations now in Vegas, Denver, the Dallas metro area, Houston, which just opened up last year. And there are going to be a couple of others opening in some really large cities.
Big ones.
But it's been a couple of years from Meow Wolf of, I don't know how I should put this, interesting times, right? So there were a couple rounds of layoffs last year. Let's start off with just like how the company is doing now in your view.
Sure.
As we are announcing these two new exhibitions in Los Angeles and in New York.
Yeah. When we first started as a company, so we had been together as a group of artists as an informal collective, informal clubhouse, really. But when we decided in 2014 to actually turn this into a business, the reason why we wanted to was because we wanted to create sustainable jobs for the 30 or 40 people up in Santa Fe that we had been working with. So we were like, okay, we need to actually like make money, and in order to pay people for the work and to create jobs. So like what's kind of crazy when we back out, it's like, yeah, we definitely created those 30 jobs, and now we've moved into having like 1,000 jobs that we created, over the course of the next 5 years, 6 years. And so we see that as a massive success. Of course, the challenge is with any business, really, it's not unique to Meow Wolf. And specifically, the challenge is to businesses that are focused on large projects, is that you have ebbs and flow to the production of those projects. So like we produced Houston, we worked on Houston, and then once Houston was over, we had hoped that there would be another project following up that we could move right into. And the reality of the situation was that we didn't. We had a gap. And we knew we had the Los Angeles project that we had announced, but there was a gap between production work going from Houston into LA. And this is the toughest part of running a business, is having a resource, sort of a strategy around the resources that you have, and hoping that strategy sticks. So unfortunately, we had to go through a couple rounds of layoffs. And as we continue to figure out like what the best path is for us and what the right size of our company is in order to deliver on that path. And there's we work with so many people on these projects. It's not just the internal full-time employed, we also work with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people as, vendors and contractors and studios and collaborating artists that are on project-based, work. And so it's a very flexible ecosystem that is complex, that we're still having to sort of figure out like the best way to do it, and in a way that can bring security and confidence to everybody who's involved. I would say like your first question was, how are we doing? We are in a better position today. I can honestly say this, like we're in a better position today than we ever have been, because we have an understanding of how to build these complex things and have a much better understanding of how they perform after we open. And we have 2 incredible projects ahead of us that are going to take us into like, a global audience with LA and with New York. Yeah. So like what's in front of us is some incredible possibilities and opportunities, and the growing pains of the past 3 or 4 years have been informative. Like they've been necessary, unfortunately, the growing pains of understanding how to operate as a business. It's all part of the art, all part of the art project that is Meow Wolf, is like trying to figure out how to operate effectively as a business now at this point.
Let's start with Los Angeles. So Meow Wolf announced this permanent exhibition last year, and they, you guys had said that it's coming in 2026. It's set to be housed in a former movie theater. At Howard Hughes, LA. Can you share with us, more about the decision to repurpose this space and, how it aligns with, the company's vision, going forward?
Yeah, well, repurposing spaces, we did the bowling alley in Santa Fe. And so this is we love going into spaces that are defunct and then kind of using that as our canvas. The movie theater is an extra special place to go in and repurpose, because we all grew up, in the 90s, in the heyday of the movie theater. And the movie theater was the place that you would go to be entertained, get out of your house, go to the movie theater. And so it's obviously an incredible symbol of location-based experience and storytelling in general, And so for us to be able to like have the site, have the theater itself be a spark for what our creative concept is going to be, and being able to really like develop around that has been really magical. There's been a lot of creative momentum that's come out of that. And Meow Wolf's going to be opening a movie theater.
So Meow Wolf this year very recently actually announced New York, which seems to me like such a great fit for what Meow Wolf is, in the big city. You're heading to a pretty historic and popular area in the Seaport, specifically Pier 17. How did that come about? How long has Meow Wolf been thinking about New York? And, now that it's announced, sort of, what are the vibes within the company?
We've been thinking about New York since we started as a group, it's the most incredible city on this planet with high quality productions, in its heart. And so honestly, like, we've wanted to go to New York forever. It's just been really intimidating to think about going to New York, because and LA for that matter. It's just like they are the entertainment capitals of the world, and we wanted to make sure that we were good enough to go, that we knew what we were doing, and that we were bringing something, that we could bring something to these markets that were worthy. Now, like, creatively speaking, the project that we've been working on that will be in New York, we've been working on for the past 3 years. And that's around the amount of time that we were also looking at different properties and looking for the best location for that project. And so we ended up finding Pier 17, and the group behind Pier 17, awesome. Like, they totally get who we are, and they get like the, what we can bring to that area and what we can bring to that development. So they've been amazing partners along the way. Yeah. And so, it's exciting. We have a set of characters, and we have some kind of like story components in our narrative universe that we think align really well with New York. And so we're excited to bring that forward.
Denver and Vegas, those are in Houston, those are big areas to open up in, but LA and New York, those are huge areas. What can this mean for the company, when these installations are up and running? What could this mean for the future of Meow Wolf having these two locations? Yeah,
we know that we're going to be reaching an international audience, similar to what we saw in Vegas when we opened Omega Mart. So we're gonna be presenting Meow Wolf to just millions of people who had never heard of us before, and it's a really big opportunity for us to evolve the type of projects that we create too. We are getting better. We have the most talented creative company like in the world. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we all know how to work together, and we know what it is that we're trying to create to such a degree that we can evolve from the previous exhibitions. There's going to be much higher level of storytelling, a higher level of interactivity. The overall quality of the worlds that we're building in LA and New York will be increased dramatically. And so it's also an opportunity for us in both of these markets to not only like bring forward an incredible experience in person and have people all around the world come and visit them, but also as an opportunity to then extend the Meow Wolf expression into other forms. Mm-hmm. So, of course we're going to LA and we're going into a movie theater and we're going into Hollywood, and it's a great opportunity for us to now explore, like, what does it mean for us to work on a television series or an animated series or a feature film, or like in New York, we're really thinking a lot about video games, and just like, we love video games. How might Meow Wolf show up in the video game industry, Yeah. And so it's a great moment for us in that way too. It's like, as we extend to this global audience, we can also now, I think, extend into other forms of artistic expression. Yeah. Yeah.
What sort of strategies are in place, with the LA and New York exhibitions in terms of, engaging local artists and communities? just to sort of ensure that, these installations, resonate with the people who live there, but also with, people who are coming in to see these.
Totally.
things.
It's integral. I mean, it has been integral for each of the projects that we've done. The Houston exhibit is a really good example. The one we just did. I mean, you walk through and there's so much Houston influence, like true, authentic Houston influence, because we worked with 30 plus Houston artists on developing the show, and so for one, it's just the right thing to do. Like, we are from Santa Fe, we are not of New York. So we have an idea, like we have a concept, but really, like, it would be really presumptuous in a lot of ways for us to kind of show up with what our view of that city or that creative culture is all about. So we are going to work with local artists, in order to bring that forward, and local design studios and in agencies and independent, artists as well. And so it's a critical part of our strategy. It's not only the right thing to do, but it also just creates a much better experience, a much better piece altogether. Yeah.
Well over a decade since this thing was founded. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, what do you think when you see this?
I mean, it's a continual surreality that you can get lost in. It's like I can get lost in the weeds of it and be like frustrated about this thing or that thing, or like really trying to make this thing better. Like, why can't we do more of these things, and like kind of get lost in the weeds of it, and then step back and just be like, this is incredible. Like, or like when you have tough moments, really tough moments, like the layoffs, where it's just pain. It's pain for 2-3 weeks, losing friends, like feeling terrible for the people that got laid off, like wondering, just you feel the difficulty of running a company, but then you step back and like you see the opportunity that we have, and like we get to make these things, we get to create these giant, profound, like monumental pieces of collaborative artwork together, and dream up anything that we want to dream up, and then attempt to make it. Like, this is. It feels like we, fell down the rabbit hole, we're like in Alice in Wonderland at this point. So yeah, it's real surreal.
Yeah.
I oftentimes say, like, it felt like we were, as a metaphor, like we sort of got on our surfboard, swam out to sea to learn how to surf. But out of nowhere, this like giant rogue wave showed up that we caught, and like, we're on it, and it's too late to bail. Like, the best path is just like ride this thing out, like just keep riding this thing out and like learn how to ride this thing out. And we just have to be flexible, and we have to have like a big perspective, because it's wild. It's wild and relentless.
Yeah. We had Santa Fe, then we get Denver, we get, Vegas, we get the Dallas Metro, we get Houston. Now we're getting LA and New York. This may be too far off in the future, but, is there a chance for international expansion for this company?
Yeah. We've been, we've been open about it. We're looking at a variety of different cities internationally and having some conversations. There's incredible artists everywhere, and there's people who want to be inside of magical worlds everywhere. It doesn't matter like what country you're from. And so, yeah, we absolutely want to explore international. It's a whole different ball game, and it's a scary thought for us. Just as New York was a scary thought for us at some point, but yeah, there's definitely a good chance of international.
Vince, that's all I have for you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.